The 50th annual NFL selection meeting is now in session.
Ryan's most well-known Super Bowl appearance came with the 1985 Bears, a year that began with a pick he despised on draft day.
Chicago Bears first-round pick, William Perry, defensive tackle of Cleveland.
Oh, what an upset.
Defensive tackle of Clemson.
That's the most exotic pick of the day. I mean, I heard scouts legitimately say that he will not go before the 5th round. I mean, they all felt, he was like a knight in armor, that if he fell down, he'd never get up again.
Buddy referred to him as a wasted draft pick. Buddy wasn't on board with this at all. The other Bear people, personnel department, and Ditka to some degree, thought that Perry was a unique kind of player. A guy that wasn't just a big wide body, but a guy that had good feet and could play and could be a difference maker. So it was one of those rare cases where they clearly disregarded the views of the guy that would be his most immediate coach and drafted William Perry.
I was very surprised when Coach Ditka called the house and he said, hello, William. I said, who's calling? He said, guess what? He said, you've just been drafted by the Chicago Bears. I just laughed. I was just tickled to death.
He is awesome. He was lifting that guy and taking him back to the refrigerator.
William the Refrigerator Perry ended up being larger than life in Chicago.
The refrigerator.
Hot dogs, milkshakes, french fries, $1. All for refrigerator, stand up and holler.
Perry started for Ryan's famed 46 defense, but his most well-known moment came on offense.
First and goal from the 1-yard line, handoff to the Perry. Yes, William Perry has scored on a 1-yard touchdown run in the Super Bowl.
With the 22nd pick in the first round, the Chicago Bears selected William Perry, a defensive tackle out of Clemson. With the Clemson Tigers, he won a national championship in '81. He was a first-team All-American in '83. And in '84 he was named the ACC Player of the Year. His iconic nickname, the Refrigerator, was coined by Clemson teammate Ray Brown, who stated, "Man, you're about as big as a refrigerator." He played in 122 games over 9 years, and had 30.5 sacks. He is most famous for his role as a goal line running back, in which he scored 4 touchdowns. His most famous was in Super Bowl 20. One of the most memorable plays in Super Bowl history. It's also one of the most controversial plays in Chicago Bears history. Rather than go with team leader Walter Payton, head coach Mike Ditka elected to go with the fridge. Many saw it as a slight against Payton, who was upset after the game. In later years, Ditka expressed regret over not giving the ball to Payton. With their second-round pick, the Chicago Bears selected Reggie Phillips, a cornerback from SMU. He played in 49 games over 3 years. He had 4 interceptions, including 1 for a touchdown in the Bears' Super Bowl 20 victory. With their 4th-round pick, the Chicago Bears selected Kevin Butler, a kicker from Georgia. He was a 2-time All-American, and he is the only kicker to be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Nicknamed Butthead, he kicked in 183 games, over 11 years. In 1985, he was the NFL scoring leader and a member of the All-Rookie team. He was also a 2-time All-Pro. He was the all-time leading scorer in Bears history with 1,116 points, until being surpassed by Robbie Gould in 2015. With their 9th round pick, the Chicago Bears selected Thomas Sanders, a running back from Texas A&M. He played in 82 games, over 5 years. He had over 2,700 all-purpose yards and scored 12 touchdowns. His best game was in 1986, against the Cincinnati Bengals. He rushed for 95 yards and scored 2 touchdowns. With their 11th round pick, the Chicago Bears selected Jim Morrissey, a linebacker from Michigan State. He was an All-Big Ten linebacker, a team captain, and was one of the all-time leading tacklers in school history. He played in 118 games, over 9 years. He had 10 interceptions, including one in Super Bowl 20, which he returned 47 yards. After going undrafted, the Chicago Bears signed Mike Tomczak, a quarterback from Ohio State. He started in 34 games, over 6 years. He passed for over 6,800 yards, threw for 35 touchdowns, and ran for 8 more. They also signed Keith Ortego, a wide receiver from McNeese State. He played in 36 games over 3 years. In 1986, he started 13 games, had 25 receptions for 466 yards, and scored 2 touchdowns. In July, the Chicago Bears claimed linebacker Cliff Thrift, off waivers, from the San Diego Chargers. The 6-year vet played in 16 games in 1985, starting in 2 games. In late August, the Chicago Bears traded a 1986 12th round pick to the San Diego Chargers for punter Maury Buford. He played in 87 games, over 5 years. He punted for over 14,000 yards, which ranks 5th in Bears history.